Xiaomi Mi 11 Lite 5G or the Realme GT Master Edition. Which one of these two very similar phones is the best for your needs? We have 4,300 mAh battery in the GT Master Edition versus 4,250. 33 watt charging with the Xiaomi, 65 watt charging. The screens are similar, so we've got OLED, AMOLED, 120 Hz versus 90 Hz, and then 64 megapixel main cameras, 8 megapixel ultra wides. Both of them do run Android 11. So first up, charging speeds. With the power adapter we get with the Mi 11, it's 33 watts, and it will take about 1 hour, just over 1 hour to fully charge this. And then with the Master Edition, 65 watts, so superior wattage there. It does charge quite a bit quicker, so this one's just over 40 minutes, so about 40 minutes versus an hour. Battery capacities, super similar, so 4,250 on the Mi 11 versus 4,300 milliamp hours. So we have a lot of similarities with these phones, that they both have very similar chipsets. So my version's here, 8 gigabytes of RAM in both of them, but we have 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 versus 125 of UFS 2.2. Snapdragon 780G versus 778G, but really they are super similar chips, as you'll see later on when we take a look at the performance. So build quality, I think the Xiaomi is slightly better here with the build. So when you hold them, noticeable difference in the thickness and the weight. We're talking about 160 grams approximately versus then about 185. You notice that, okay, that does feel a little bit more heavy, but I like the thinness of the Mi 11. The Mi 11 Lite has Gorilla Glass 6 on the front. We don't know the version we have with the Realme, which I believe is Gorilla Glass 5 or maybe even Gorilla Glass 3 that they have in the front of that one. So both of them do have here full HD plus screens, different tech. Of course, we've got 120 Hz versus 90 Hz. OLED versus Super AMOLED, which is, again, very similar. But getting back onto the build here, the build and the design of them, the thickness of the Xiaomi is just under, well, a fraction under. It's about 7 millimeters versus about 8.9 millimeters. So, again, a little bit thicker. Now, fingerprint readers. Very, very quick here. So, I'll just demonstrate the Mi 11 Lite. So, tapping that, it loads in. The animation makes it look a little bit slower than what it really is. Very easy to get to. Really good position with that one, and I do like it. And with the Realme GT Master Edition, pressing the power button does nothing because the fingerprint reader is actually an in-screen one. If that's something you prefer, then you've got it with this. Now, it is also very quick. I think it's actually a little bit faster. The location, however, does take me a little while to get used to. Should really be about here, as I mentioned in my full review. It's a little bit lower, but still, both of them very fast. Both do have face unlocking, which is very, very quick there too. So the front-facing cameras, we have 32 megapixels here, so the cutout with the GT, okay? And then with the Mi 11 Lite, it is a 20 megapixel camera there, so slightly less. It's the cutout again with that one. So, all up, plastic frames on both of them, plastic on the rear here of the Realme, but glass again on the Xiaomi. So overall, I just think it's more refined. I like the build quality a little bit better than what we're getting here with the Mi 11 Lite, but both of them are decent. So for ports, down the bottom, this is where there is a little bit of a difference. So both Type-C, microphones there, SIM tray here. Okay, you can take a micro SD card with the Xiaomi, 3.5mm headphone jack with the Realme. So you have to decide on what you prefer, either micro SD or 3.5mm. Both have downwards firing speakers. At the top, we have an IR blaster with the Xiaomi microphone and just the secondary mic there with the Realme GT. And then our displays. So as I mentioned that they're both full HD plus displays, they have a resolution of 2400 by 1080. Both of them are very, very good. However, 90 Hz here versus 120 Hz. And I have noticed that it does, of course, feel a little bit smoother overall with the UI performance I'll get onto soon and the ROMs. Now, when you take a look at the screen here on the 11 Lite 5G, you will notice that it has a much smaller chin there, so it's a little bit better. Side bezels are about the same. Now, what about the blacks? Both being, well, AMOLED and OLED, very deep, looks good. I've got screen protectors on at the moment, so there's a little bit of reflection coming off that. Just taking a look at the whites there. So slight differences between them. Overall, they're both very good panels. So measuring the brightness, we have, according to my light meter, 820 nits versus close to 900. So it's about 890 something that I'm getting out of this panel, which is slightly brighter here on the Realme GT Master Edition. So if you want the best display, there's not much in it, but the winner is the GT Master Edition for the displays. Now, the ROM performance between both of these is similar. They're both very quick feeling phones when you're using them, okay? Both run Android 11, but we've got MIUI 12.5 versus Realme i2.0. Now, they both have their little tweaks and differences. What is really noticeable is, of course, the refresh rate. So we've got 120 frames per second UI versus 90 frames per second UI. And even though that's only 30 frames per second difference, I'm noticing it, I'm seeing it. I've used both devices here extensively. And launch times of applications and general ROM performance, I think, is better, well optimized on the GT Master Edition, and it's still good on the 11 5G, but it definitely does feel a little bit slower. Now, jumping into a few other things with the ROM. With the Mi 11 here, Xiaomi devices do have more bloatware crammed upon them. So both of them are guilty for putting on a lot of junk, a lot of bloatware when you first power up the phones. So we do have several apps here. You can see LinkedIn, you've got TikTok, Facebook, all sorts of junk maybe that you don't actually need or use. Same thing with the Xiaomi, but the Xiaomi, however, has at least 10 applications more and almost 2 gigabytes worth of bloatware on that one. So internal storage speeds, very good on both of them. And we are looking at really identical kind of speeds, more or less. There's not much in it apart from the write speeds are a little bit faster here on the GT Master Edition. That is really it when it comes to the storage performance. I wouldn't worry too much about that. However, expandable storage, of course, on the 11 Lite 5G, that it can, if you give up one of those micro nano SIMs, you can install a micro SD card. So here with Antutu, really the same. Not much in it at all. A slight edge to the Realme phone here, and that is really it because of the UI optimization score is a little bit higher there, but really they're about the same. So wireless performance up close to my router, they are both really quick. Gigabit speeds are possible with a Wi-Fi 6 router. So both connected up to Wi-Fi 6 here, of course. However, where it counts the most is at distance. A lower wireless signal strength, you get more throughput, better speeds, a lot faster on the Realme GT, I have found in my experience. Okay, GPS, more or less the same. Both have pretty good average signal strengths there. Both will max out at a top accuracy of 3 meters, which is normal. So even though both of these devices have a Widevine Level 1 security cert here for DRM, Amazon Prime Video, if you're a big user of that, only the Realme will actually display the video in HD and Full HD. With the Xiaomi, with Amazon Prime Video, you are stuck in standard definition. So there is a difference there. However, Netflix, both of them is Full HD there. So it really depends if you're an Amazon user. Camera to API support, both level 3. So yes, you can use the Gcam port for different kind of look at camera photo quality and everything. And then a stress test here. All right, this is interesting. This loops for 20 times with 3D Mark's benchmark. And we got a lot of throttling on the Xiaomi. It throttled down 24% there, okay, in the performance. You can see the clear drop. Solid, very solid there on the GT Master Edition with its vapor cooling chamber and everything like that. It actually does perform better in the long run for gaming and general performance. So that was the battery charge time. That was actually around 40 minutes. But onto the battery scores here. The Realme pulled ahead. Even at 120 hertz, it managed to achieve a better score here. And you can see with the scores and performance, this is a difference. Now we are seeing that they didn't throttle here, but there was some throttling that took place with the Realme. But when it comes to gaming and 3D performance, it's the Xiaomi that doesn't do quite as well. So in real life use, you are looking at about 6 to 7 hours, 6 hours screen on time on this, and about 6.5 or so. So not too much of a difference, even though here it's about almost an hour. For audio, the Master Edition does get the win because it supports a 3.5mm headphone jack, but not just that, the loudspeaker actually sounds a little richer, a little clearer to my ears versus what we have on the Mi 11 Lite 5G. The Lite 5G here, downwards firing speaker, GT Master Edition, also just the single downwards firing speaker on both of these. Now, voice call quality on both of them. I've got SIM cards in them, I've placed calls. They sound really the same. Okay, I can't tell really any difference between them. Very, very similar there. But here's a sample now of the speakers. So I'll first play this one, followed up by the 11 Lite 5G at 100% volume, both of them. Gaming performance now. So this is currently the Mi 11 Lite 5G, and both of them can run PUBG on the extreme frame rate option with the smooth graphic settings. As soon as you change that, it then drops down that frame rate to 45. So it's only just 60 on both of these. Sadly, not 90 or 120 Hertz. Now, I have noticed that the Mi 11 Lite 5G feels at the beginning a lot quicker, and after playing for an hour or so, just like the 3D Mark results that we saw, the performance drops down a little bit. It's not that noticeable. However, when I play for longer periods, I am seeing that. Now, with the Realme GT, this is the Master Edition, it's a lot smoother and it seems to maintain and hold the frame rate a lot better in the long run. And that's because it's a thicker device, a little bit heavier. I've got someone shooting at me right here. I can't believe they did not kill me there. So that's a bot, obviously. So in the end, if you are going to game a lot and you want the best long-term gaming performance with the best average frame rate, then I would go for the GT Master Edition. And then our rear cameras, so again, very, very similar. So 64 megapixels, f1.8 main cameras on both of them. They both have 8 megapixel ultra wides, 2 megapixel macro camera on the GT Master Edition, and then on the 11 Lite, that is a 5 megapixel macro. It has the best macro shots. So here are some samples now of exactly what you can expect, side-by-side comparison of the same exact shot, so we can see which one of these actually has the best for stills, selfies, portraits, and video quality. So with both of the front-facing cameras here with video, we get 1080p maximum. And we don't have any electronic image stabilization for some reason on the Realme GT Master here. But with the Mi 11 Lite we do. It's got a closer crop, but the footage is a lot smoother, more usable, and I do actually prefer it over the Realme here for that quality. Now I'll swap over to the rear cameras and we'll take a look at what we can also get out of these two phones here with video performance. So main cameras here, we've got 4K 30 frames per second support on the Mi 11 Lite, but 4K 30 and 4K 60 with the GT Master Edition. Both of them have electronic image stabilization. And unfortunately the weather the last week or so has been often like this, just overcast, kind of a little bit stormy here. Would like to test it in daylight, but that's just the way it is. So running ahead, I do think that the electronic image stabilization on the Mi 11 here is performing a little bit better than what I'm seeing on the Realme phone. Let me know in the comments which one you think has the best stability. And this is now ultra wide video, so 1080p, that's all we can get on both of the 8 megapixel sensors on both of these phones here for the ultra wide. The field of view is really basically the same. Any differences you're seeing right now is just the position on the mount that I'm using, that's all. And both of them are using electronic image stabilization, but I think it looks a little steadier here on the Mi 11 Lite 5G versus the Realme GT Master. All right, so I'll keep it real nice and simple here. You would go for the Mi 11 Lite 5G for the nice, thin, better design, slightly better build quality, micro SD card support, and I feel overall the best camera, certainly when it came to video. Now, if you want the best screen, slightly brighter, 120 Hz refresh rate, the best overall ROM performance and general UI performance, best gaming performance, and a 3.5mm headphone jack, then you would go for the Realme GT Master Edition. Now, which one of these would I pick? It's pretty hard going. I think I would get this, the GT Master Edition, for the UI performance, the UI optimization, the speed of it, and then use a Gcam port just to improve a little bit on the photo performance that you can get out of the 64 megapixel main, the ultra wide, and the video performance. So thank you so much for watching this in-depth comparison between the Mi 11 Lite 5G, the Realme GT Master Edition. I do hope to see you back in the channel with my next up-and-coming video, so do subscribe for more.